Not your name, not your email, not your date of birth, nothing.
Global ops, you are for you, and then even in crypto, how are you able to balance all this? Like, it is not easy for you.
Make someone understand about the crypto. The first thing that we need to make them learn is.
So, hello guys, welcome back to the genspeaks podcast series. For today's episode, we have Mr. Rajath Kumar. He is the CEO of Foryuva Global Ops and Indians News, and he is also a crypto consultant. So today's episode was very, very interesting because we talked about Metaverse, NFTs, ATM, student advices and lot of stuff. So without any delay, let's dive back into the podcast right now. So, hello sir, welcome to the second episode of the genspeaks podcast series. So basically what we do in genspeaks is we bring in industry professionals and talk to them, so that our students' doubts get clarified. And we are trying to build a platform where students can network, sir. So it's like a great pleasure for us to have you here, sir. I'm Ganesh. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty good, and thanks for hosting me. And it's such a good initiative at these times where the gap between academia and industry need to be, brought down and this thing. So yeah, overall it's a pretty great initiative.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir. So sir, we were actually going through your LinkedIn profile and stuff, and we found quite many interesting achievements in it, sir. One thing that just caught our eye was you have done a course with United Nations. It's called Empiric. So can you just
Embrytech.
Yeah, Embrytech. I'm sorry, Embrytech. Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
So Embrytech is an foundation which was initiated by UNCTAD, which is United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, with the main aim and motto of training and empowering entrepreneurs in specifically developing countries like India and many other third world countries as well, mostly even in Africa and Middle East. And the whole motto is mostly it's said that the entrepreneurship cannot be taught, but over there it's not about teaching or training entrepreneurship as such, but more of entrepreneurial competencies and behavioral things. So these are the main things that separate successful ones versus the other ones. So it's more of 7 days workshop. It varies from 7 to 10 days correct. And it's a 7 days workshop where it's a very intense workshop. So from morning to night, it's fully packed, and they train you on many of the entrepreneurial competencies like information seeking, risk taking. So touches completely on the 360 degrees of that. So yeah, it was that, and it was done in Calcutta, I guess, and I was sponsored by United Nations and the government of Telangana as well for the production of that. Right. And after that, I also happened to represent India at one of the UNCTAD's first Global Youth Forum happened in Kenya, Nairobi.
Wow! Oh, Kenya. That's
yeah,
nice.
Kenya.
Wow, sir. So, sir, for our guests, so for our audience, to know more briefly, can you just give me a small, from how you started schooling, university, and all this?
Okay, so schooling mine was predominantly I'm a native of Sangareddy, and so till 6th standard I was studied there, and after that I was in the boarding of Kukatpalli BSK Memorial High School. I don't know if you're familiar with it. After that, intermediate was in NRI Academy, which was again in Kukatpalli itself, and then I was pursuing BSc in Biotech, Microbiology and Chemistry. But at the same time, I was pretty much active in the Telangana Revolution. That was Telangana State was informed there. But most of my thing was on social media and virtually, because I was still a teen, and those are the days. And those are the days like Facebook was on Speak, Arab Spring, and all the other revolutions were happening there, right? So yeah, we used to do some of the accounts and motivate people on this, joining these things, rallies and petitions and all these things. So I was pretty much active there. And in the schooling, I was more active on the chess tournaments and competition and this thing. So pretty much anything except academics. So on 2014 June 2, I can still say that was the day Telangana was formed. And it was kind of an existential crisis for me because I didn't know what to do next. So most of my friends, all of them were partying, and I then I felt like media was completely unfair during the Telangana Revolution and the coverage that it got, which relatively is pretty less compared with the other issues, and I thought it revolves just around Delhi. So then I started indiansnews.com just on the same day, June 2014.
Sorry, sir?
indiansnews.com.
Okay. Wow.
So that was a media portal back then. I started it on the days covering more democratically media thing run by youth and all this thing. So it did took off, and we did happen to launch it, and most of the people and around India has did intern with us, mostly from Delhi universities, IITs, and some other things. And I think till now around 400 to 500 people has been worked for that since 2014.
Wow.
And we did had reached out in some millions in viewership. And we did partner with most of the events, conferences, and these things that did give me. Actually, I'm more passionate about attending conferences and all these things.
Okay.
So that gave the edge. And we were the partners for some of the United Nations conferences. At the same time, Dubai's GITEX and some of the UAE ministries events as such.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did that. And during that phase, I was also, I told you, right, selected for the Empretech and then happened to Nairobi and the same. Okay. So one thing I saw over there is like the most of the ones who got selected over the fellow pace, either they're from the topmost top creamy layer institutes like IIMs or the IITs and these things, or pretty much with a strong family backgrounds or sons or daughters of the ministers or the bureaucrats and this thing. And so even while introducing, like most of them were introducing like this university, so I can still say that while I was in the Nairobi, it was one of my friend who was good, Razi. He was like 2010 the topper of the whole India's topper one, rank one.
Okay.
And then place 2 it was same, and in the again he was got into Sri Center College of Commerce.
Whoa,
and
the biggest one, yeah.
Yeah, the biggest one. So Sri Center College of Commerce, and even then he was like topper of that, and he's currently previously worked with World Trade Organization and now doing PhD in that. So he's one, and there are something, all of this thing. And so when I was intro, I was just like a dropout and this thing, right?
Okay.
So forget about me. And then I thought these opportunities and these things are not democratic enough. I mean, these are not accessible. I mean, mostly people in the Delhi or with a close circle, they get to know about this thing. And that gave me the motivation to start this portal called foryuva.com. So what after the COVID and the lockdown, we aren't posting much of these things because there isn't much. And right now it's things are opening up and all that. We will be making it active much. So what we do in over here is like we take an opportunity, any opportunity, and we cut it into 3 parts. It's like just a brief and what's the application, what are the benefits, what's the eligibility. Who all are eligible. And what are the benefits and what's the application procedure that you can do. So it's in 3 simple steps, like anyone can get access to it and all these things. So in this while I was also happened to get a lot of money opportunities, like selected for World Bank Youth Forum, Washington DC, USA.
Wow.
And Russia International Youth Festival and many others, UN and this thing. So that gave me a lot of international exposure, and also I practically seen what are the actual differences that what's happening right now in the world versus what's teaching in academia. Okay. The gap is really huge, and the things. And over here, the other best thing that I've seen, specifically in the conferences or the meets and this thing is, you get to meet with the best of the best brains and minds in a particular industry, or no matter, it might be software thing or the marketing or crypto or hardware, sometimes physics and this. So irrespective of that, you get to network with them or talk with them and all this thing, give them access. So it really opened up the doors to and gave access to many of these interesting and fascinating people, which otherwise I wouldn't have got it. So that's one thing, and that's how it happened started foryuva. And then as I was doing the thing, and one day I got the call from Kavitaka's office, which is Kavitaka's office, Chief Minister's
exactly, yeah.
And Naveen and I was the General Secretary. They said they were planning the one international youth summit in Hyderabad, and they wanted some of the little help or something on this thing. So that's how I happened to be a part of the core team of TJLC, Telangana Jagrati International Young Leaders Conference. So where I was heading delegates, relations, and international these things. So we happened to manage to get 500 people from 100 plus countries to Hyderabad.
Wow!
500 plus people, and most of them are. I think you might be aware of sustainable development goals, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So yeah, most of them are working and pioneering in different sustainable development goals of their fields and this thing. So then we managed to get this thing, and then that gave birth to Global Ops, which is a platform exclusively for to be a part of international and prestigious programs. So we do, it's a two-way thing on the front end, and on the client side, it's like the youth or anyone who want to be part of this kind of programs, they get to access this thing. And on the other side, we work with governments and corporates and help them in bringing more international, making their program more globalized. So it's the caption is globalize yourself, it's that. So we are still working with the government of Telangana, and India Joy is like India's largest multimedia animation and digital conference, which happens for the period of 7 days, and 4 to 5 events happen. Like morning to evening, it's workshops, conference, and that evening it's followed by a concert, fashion show, and all the fun stuff. So that's one thing as well that which we are working on with them. So that's how we started. And in the pandemic, it so happened that most of this international travel and all the work that I'm doing, right, it's been put on hold. So that's how I was exploring finance and entered into crypto and blockchain space, which is in 2020-21.
All right. So, sir, I personally find for you, what we are also, planning to achieve is almost the same. The thing is, especially in the two Telugu states, students don't know the importance of, networking, meeting new people, attending global conferences. So we are planning to, bridge that small gap where, even the students can meet the industry professional people, go to conferences and stuff. The thing is, even if we have social media and stuff, most of the students are not aware of it. So that's what we're planning to do exactly with genspeaks.
Yes.
Exactly. So, sir, now I have one question, sir. You are in global ops, you are for you, and then even in crypto. How are you able to balance all this, sir? Like, how is it even humanly possible? I mean, for people at our stage, it's like it's a huge job. How are you doing it, sir?
No, I guess it's about in the initial when the setting up the things and all these things. It's for definitely it's get stuff and this thing.
Yes.
But again, it's all about management, and then at the core, it comes to trusting the people and the team and delegating the stuff. Because no matter how many things or you want to do, you can't do all the things, right? And then you need delegation. So it's mostly the team and finding the good team, delegating the ones, and making sure that. So it's more than a goal thing. It's about creating a system.
Exactly, sir. You're trying to create value to the
value in the system, and at the end, the system shouldn't be much dependent upon you. Whether you're there or not, it needs to be self-evolving and running. So that's the hard part.
Alright.
So it wasn't easy for me either.
It is not easy for you, sir.
It wasn't easy for me either. Yeah. Just running.
So, sir, your story is like very, very, very relatable to us, sir. Because even we are starting out from there, and we see you as a personal inspiration right now. So, sir, we know about the Indian mentality, sir. As we discussed before, it's people want physical assets, and now everything is turning digital. Yes. Even our money is going digitally, and we can't see it physically. So, sir, coming to crypto, since you are into crypto and you specialized in it, so, sir, if you were given an opportunity, to explain about crypto to our older generations or to our coming generations, young ones, how would you do it, sir?
See, okay, to make someone understand about the crypto, the first thing that we need to make them learn is what is blockchain. Okay, and essentially what blockchain is solving is the problem of trust. For example, let's say that you gave me 100 rupees, okay, and you haven't noted it down. I just noted it down on the paper, and later maybe tomorrow I would say I might have forgotten, or I might wantedly say that no, you never gave me money. Who are you? So, but you don't have a proof, and neither anyone can solve the conflict. For suppose even you have a ledger and I have a ledger written on the same, or let's say we written something different, and then even then no one can solve the conflict, right? Because they don't have actual proof. So what essentially blockchain is, suppose all the ones over here, everyone has a ledger over here, which was a book and a pen.
Yes.
And everyone wrote down that you gave me 100 rupees, right? Everyone.
Okay.
And any other transaction, even if I give you 10 rupees or another, they do update same.
Okay.
And as a reward that they have done the same, they would get rewarded a little bit of coin or something like that. So that's the crypto. Okay. That's a crypto asset, and this is the whole blockchain ledger. And if there is another one, any newcomer comes and joins the group, he would be having all the data, whatever has been written in this same.
Okay.
And also any new transaction that has been entering. So now it's the whole community holding that, and it's pretty transparent and everyone knows who owns on that, right? So this is the blockchain, this is the ledger, and the crypto is a currency which is rewarded for holding the records and this thing on the blockchain part.
Alright.
And now, as we say, right now, the mostly people only know about Bitcoin as one of the major thing. As it's been pioneering in the cryptocurrency space, and it's the one which is completely decentralized. And what according to you is the most successful startup in 21st century?
According to me, the most successful startup in 21st century. Any ideas? Gen. So yeah. 21st century most. Any ideas, guys?
SpaceX. Okay. So yeah, they are doing some good work and that. But if you look at capital wise, Bitcoin, it didn't raise a single penny. Nor does it has a CEO. Nor does it has an office, nor any employees. Just a 15 pages on my white paper, PDF one, that changed the whole world, and the value of it is almost crossed $1 trillion. You see the future and where it is going, right?
Yeah, yes.
Just a white paper which changed the world completely, and especially the finance terms and this thing, nothing remains the same. And it doesn't have a CEO, nor employees, nor any funding. And anyone can be a part of it, nor it requires any permission from that. It's completely permissionless, right?
Wow.
So that's the thing it has done to the thing, and it encouraged and gave rise to the whole Web3 community as well, where everyone can be part of this thing, open source network, and then can be Ethereum, which is not, you cannot just only run the tokens in the currency, but also run smart contracts, which is pretty much the distributed applications on the blockchain, and that has given rise to the Web3.
Yeah.
Right? So this is how it is going.
Wow. Wow, sir. And also there's one more thing, most of the people feel that, Bitcoin is very, very volatile. Like, it might disappear tomorrow. Like, most of the people think, what is that?
See, Bitcoin isn't going to disappear because, again, there are many nodes and different people and that. So what they are saying is the volatility or the pegged value of it to the USDT or USD, right? Again, it's still in nascent stages. It might be of 10, 12 years of its invention and this thing, right? There would be a point where it gets as the most major. Firstly, like in the initial days, there are people, who brag that we gave 10,000 Bitcoin and got a pizza, and there are people who bought a pizza for 10,000 Bitcoin. Right? I mean, in the early days, it was just like a nerd digital monopoly currency. Everyone says it just disappears. And then they were saying no one uses that except the computer nerds. And then they were saying only no one uses that except the hackers. And then they were saying no one uses that except the computer nerds, hackers, and the base. And now when El Salvador made it the digital, now there's no one uses that except the small countries.
Yeah.
You see where it is coming, right? And even if you look at any innovation that's been there, every time it's been tried to suppress or have the gatekeepers. Even if you look at the cars, what will happen to the horses, or what will happen to the ones who manage the horses thing?
Yeah.
Even the trains, right? And do you believe, like in the beginning, when if you want to drive a car, you need to have one person who needs to alarm the people with a flag that
there's a car coming.
There's a car coming, and then it shouldn't be like 30-40 kilometers speed and all this thing. So any innovations has been always done this thing because it challenges the status quo.
Exactly.
Right?
True.
And over here, the thing is, the beauty of it is there is no one single government or authority which would be controlling this and this thing. So it's kind of lessening their power and challenging their authority at all.
Exactly.
And literally, no one likes to give away power easily, at least without a fight, right?
Yeah.
So that's what's happening right now.
Oh wow, that's amazingly good, sir. So now, seeing the Indian economy as of now, is this true that 30% taxes will be put on cryptocurrency?
Yes, it is 30% on the profit of the crypto.
Exactly. So the thing is, how do you think the crypto is going to benefit the country, and why is India putting the 30%? It's like a bit more, right?
See, I think over here government might be, I don't know, it's kind of to discourage much of the cryptocurrency traders or these things, or bring back to the stocks or this thing. As you said, again, this is on the 30% on the profit thing. But if you look at the profit side, the plus side of it, it's mostly like accepting that it's legalizing crypto as an asset. So most of the industry and the exchanges and everyone has been seen as a positive side, because till then it was on the gray area. No one was like, it wasn't sure what this thing. So right now they accepted it. So it's like one fight at a time or one step at a time. Maybe in the future days they would be reducing it and all these things, because India wasn't part of any of the previous industrial revolution or the electricity, the other ones. We were only able to get a part of IT revolution, and that did change the things. And we are pioneering, one of the leaders and leading in the IT space, right? Right now, the Web3 or the blockchain and crypto is like the another revolution that's going to happen on that. And if we being left out of that, it's going to be like, drastic effect on our economy.
Exactly. Okay. Got it, sir. So, sir, we have one more interesting question again related to crypto. When you were starting crypto, like getting into crypto, did you face any difficulties?
The crypto space is like, it's really evolving, and again, as I said, it's very in nascent stage right now. It's kind of in infancy. So when I began, I started like buying some Ethereum, and that's how I entered into it. And then there was this play to earn games tokens and some other part. I was fascinated by it, and the main reason that I've been fascinated by it is like, one is it's permissionless, trustless. You don't need to trust one single authority, or you don't need to seek them the permission or anything as such. So it's challenging the status quo, and it's mostly in the Web 2 thing, right? What's the Google's motto? Caption?
I'm sorry.
Don't be evil.
Don't be evil.
Which means they can be evil, but they choose not to be evil.
Not to be evil, yeah.
But in the Web3, it's you can't be evil.
Yeah.
So whatever you have mentioned in the smart contract, this thing, you need to do that part. So it's like we are trusting all the companies, okay, all the big giants of Facebook, Google, and all the things with our data.
Right.
For example, there is this one big giant in USA. It's one of the big shopping malls. Okay. So there is a teenage girl. She was getting the mails of pregnancy products as such.
Okay.
In her mailer. Her father saw it, and he spoke with the mall supervisor or someone who's running the department, and I said, see, she is just an underage girl. Like, you should be sending these mails to the pregnancy products and this thing. It will motivate others. Then you're like, oh sorry, our algorithm suggested that, and most of the times our algorithm is right, and we apologize to her. After a week, they found out that she is pregnant.
Whoa.
So there are algorithms right now. Every time you open your phone, right? Every touch that you do, WhatsApp or anything, most of this is sending back to their users and this thing. Humans have produced more data in past 2 years than the whole humanity has ever created from inception of humankind on Earth.
Wow.
So these algorithms can know your sexual orientation, what you like, what you don't. They know you better than what you know about yourself.
Exactly. Yes.
So the thing is, and the companies had them. And you just need to trust them that they won't use it against you. Yes. So, but in the Web3, it's not that. It's just a public ID, and there's a wallet. And for example, over here, right, you need to create separate accounts for the Gmail, Facebook, and all these things, and all that do have your own data and these things. But in the Web3 part, it's just a one. How many of you use like MetaMask or any of the crypto wallets? Yeah. So try using it to log into a site or anything, access, swap. So what do it ask?
Signature.
Just a signature, just a button, right? Not your name, not your email, not your date of birth, nothing. So it's just that, and it only seeks your public ID and that's it. So it's completely your own privacy, your hands. There are another technologies which are evolving on that, zero knowledge proofs and this thing that makes it more easier for you to save your data and only give what that company needs without revealing any of your data.
Wow. That is very, very, very interesting regarding the Web3. So, sir, now we'll move into the other part of this whole new trend that is going on, that is NFTs, sir.
Okay.
So, sir, there are like most of the people still don't know what NFT is. They basically think, you can draw something and then sell and then people will buy. And also, people are using these NFTs to put in their, in the Metaverse. They're like, they're getting sold over there also. So, what exactly are NFTs, sir? And
See, okay. For example, you have 100 rupees and I have 100 rupee, right? and the things that I can get for my 100 rupees and the things that you can get for your 100 rupees are same. They are not different. It has the same value, which means they are not. So it is fungible. Fungible means both are same and there are many of that, and it is of same value. So whereas NFT is a token on the blockchain which is completely unique. There is no other token as such on the entire blockchain. So even with interoperability, it's only one of such token over there. So inherently that token doesn't have any value. It's just the value what we are going to assign it. So when people are merging or plugging that into a picture, this token is what they're putting into the picture, that because till now there isn't a way to prove that this is the authentic one. This image is going to the one, because you can always save the image and paste it. You can never differentiate.
Simple screenshot.
Yeah, which is original, which is duplicate, right? So right now, when you are merging this NFT and this picture, it's going to be in this picture and this is the NFT. In essentially, what they are buying is the NFT, and you can still download the picture, but it's not going to be the original thing.
Okay.
Right now, the utility of NFTs is much. Like for example, as we are saying that there is a wallet and we can just use login that. And for credentialing and all these things, your graduation certificates can be NFTs because that's just unique.
Exactly.
And to get into access into your college club or this thing, you need to hold that NFT as a certificate of this thing. There are many. And coming to the this thing, right? The hype and the craze that's all been going on. It's just kind of a money or this thing. Like people are, we always want scarcity, right? Humans value scarcity. That's the you might seen about the diamond paradox, right? Food is cheap because we need food and we need to survive on that, and it's still cheap. Diamonds, in essence, we don't need any other. It is costly. So that's called as the diamond paradox. Wherever it's scarce, like humans love to have that. So that's what it's happening. And with the gaming and the NFTs thing, right now it's to incentivize gamers, and there's a lot of use cases with NFTs in gaming, because right now there are many assets that gamers would buy and trade and this thing, but you cannot sell them.
Yeah.
But with NFTs, you can. Those are just the unique. So the gun or they're using it. It's again the whole game economy thing. They can sell and they can trade and this thing. So it's kind of incentivizing them. And the use cases of NFTs are pretty high. I mean, like a lot. I mean, even in the future, the land can be sold as an NFTs. I mean, anything in the registrations and that has everything in the blockchain. On the other hand, yeah, if you lose the private keys or if you lose that under access to the wallet, you lose that thing. So yeah, other than if you see beyond the hype, yeah, there's a lot of utility to the NFTs.
Wow. So are you personally into NFTs, sir?
I do have a couple of them, but not much.
Alright. So sir, we had one interesting thing, like my friend Karthik told me, you just wrote NFT on a piece of paper and just sold it.
I didn't sold it, I just listed it on OpenSea, yeah.
Okay.
I was just bored and I was just scribbling there and I just did that and published it on the OpenSea thing.
Alright. So diving back into the podcast again. So again, one more most trendy word that is going on right now is the Metaverse. Apparently, Facebook it even changed its name to Meta, and then they also faced quite a lot of loss recently. And in this Metaverse, even there's the real estate aspect, and there are a lot of many things. So what exactly is Metaverse?
See, there are parts and pieces of Metaverse that exist now, but a Metaverse as a whole that doesn't exist now. So to put it simply, I think most of you might be aware of Second Life, right?
Yeah.
So you can say that like Inception was the starting stage of Metaverse thing, where it's a game and you can have all the aspects of that, owning the stuff or creating that and this thing. Fortnite is, you can also consider it as another Metaverse thing. Okay. But the actual Metaverse is like, it's kind of a backbone to the internet community where they all can be connected. I mean, like for suppose you own something or some items in Second Life, you would be also able to bring that to the another game or another thing or the Metaverse.
Yeah.
So different game universes existing in one such that. I think Meta and some other companies are creating a gear. I mean, when I was back then in Future Blockchain Summit in Dubai, I had a chance to experience this haptic glasses. So what they had this air glass thing where whatever I was feeling, I mean, seeing virtually, I could experience that on my hands.
Wow.
So I was petting a cat
Okay.
and I could feel the sensation. I was touching the knob and I was like flying in the chalk and all that, and I could see that. But the only thing is the gear is pretty high. I think it's like 5 to 10 kgs back that I need to wear.
Whoa.
So I think it's been achieved through the combination of pressure, air, and water atoms. So I think it's a game changer thing, and even they have shown the same thing in the Ready Player One, where
Exactly.
so this thing, and even Meta is working on the gloves and headphones and different other aspects, where you can bridging the gap between virtual and physical. If you can feel whatever is happening over the virtual thing and this thing, I mean, that's almost like everything, right? That's there. That's the main barrier that's been there. And in the pretty future, no doubt, like Metaverse is going to be one of the major thing. I think it's just like having a phone or the laptop or this thing. It's Metaverse creates and having the users. Maybe people might be more concerned about their Metaverse image than their physical image or this thing, because that allows them to be anything that they want to be.
Exactly.
I mean, in the physical world, there are restrictions or such, right? I mean, you cannot. You don't like your body, you need to work on it for it to be changed, or the skin color, gender, orientation, the same. But Metaverse, you can be anyone that you want to be. So even the economics wise, because the people value it and the things get scarce, it's going to be there. And even now there are a few projects like Mana Decentraland, where you can buy the land, NFTs, and also the land rates are like the distance between the events and the traffic of the users, the rates are high and all that. So it's more of that, and NFTs is going to be really value in the Metaverse, because you will be trading items and all the stuff. And I mean, Metaverse is going to be the basic in future years, I guess. Maybe I don't know, like down the line 5 to 10 years.
Okay. So, sir, one thing that bothers me is, since everything is going into the digital part, sir, it's like everything is in this, like, then what about this? Like, what is your opinion on that, sir? Like, if everything is going digital, what's the use of human connection, human touch?
I mean, we cannot put it that way. It's like there is an option over there. It's like there is no compulsive way that you need to be digital and everything as such. It's there. We are, I mean, better with the option rather than depriving of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the one who has invented the cars also invented the car accidents, and the same with the ship and the shipwreck.
Exactly.
Based on how we consciously use it or get addicted to it and being deprived with that. So with the digital thing and as such, it's kind of one good way or many other advantages as well. Even for the education purposes and all these things, you can actually be like in the part of the history and what was happening there. And even in the medical streams, understanding the tough concepts or astrophysics or anything as such, so better understanding. And some of the times, maybe the inductions or seeing life through the other person's perspective and different things. So there are advantages, because disadvantages most of the people see, and any dystopian doomsday thing. So we are never short of that. So it's just that how consciously are we gonna use that, because at the end, only till we are alive in this body and it's healthy, we can be using that, right?
Exactly.
So it's just an option that's there, but it's not. There's no compulsory or anything. Maybe it's just like in the books that they say, right? Because the most reason people consume alcohol or get addicted smoking or this thing is for the peer pressure.
Exactly.
So even here there would be a peer pressure for sure, but again, it should be a conscious choice.
Perfect. So, sir, I have one more interesting question. Like, is trading the only way that students can make money, or to put it more simply, how can students use Web3 as a platform to earn money?
Definitely. Sure. As I said, right, Web3 is in its early days as such. So just like when internet was in early. So imagine if in 2000 you would be able to work for Amazon or Facebook or YouTube, anything as such, and where you would be standing now, I mean the technology aspect. So are you aware of this Californian gold rush?
No, sir.
So when there was this gold mines were found in California, most of the people rushed there to find the gold. Everyone wanted to do gold thing, so everyone was mining this thing with the shovels and all that. The most people that who got rich are not the ones who were mining in this. Yeah, for sure there are small percentage of them who found the gold and got rich, but the ones who were selling shovels and the other mining equipment with them. So even on this thing, maybe you are trading or investing, which I mean long-term investment would be a better thing. The way is building in the Web3, because there are lack of builders in the Web3 ecosystem, and there are lack of good engineers and this thing. And this space is very rapidly evolving. Even finding talent and this thing, it's kind of things. Most of the people are migrating to this because of the money and all the other things. But yeah, learning with, you know, how crazy it would be like if your college doesn't charge your fees and they pay you return amount just for learning.
Wow.
Would that do you think it's possible? No. But in Web3 it is possible. Most of the projects and these things are paying the tokens and money just for learning the stuff.
Wow.
There are different things, and also there are many camps or online. I think there is this website. I'm sorry, I'm unable to recollect it. Even this giving you out all the information and courses, and when you complete that, you get an NFT and this thing.
Wow.
So all the information and everything is available open, and they are also assisting you able to get the jobs, projects, and this thing. And the best part, you don't even need any degree, or I myself don't have a degree yet though.
Wow.
So you can just be a part of anything that projects, and you get and the another beautiful thing is there is no geographical boundaries, or even for the bank account and these things you need to be a certain age and all these things from this thing to get some currency and all these things, right? With the Web3 you just need a wallet, that's it.
Exactly.
So that's a part. So mostly I think this is the right time to focus on building side of the Web3, learning about it, from the basic blocks and this thing. And all the information is available on the online.
Yes. Sir, you just mentioned that you don't have a degree, right? So, sir, did you have that family pressure going on? You should have at least a degree to stay.
Actually, they didn't know that I didn't have a degree for last year, I think. So I got a chance to write an external, my final exams or trip to Sri Lanka, which was a paid business trip. So I choose the later over the former. So that's how it ended up. And I thought of giving exams later on, but didn't got time to do that.
Wow, that's amazing. So, sir, what are your future projects as of such now, since you are
right now I'm consulting one of the gaming company. I can't say much on that, but it's a skill-based gaming thing on the crypto thing. Other than that, few other projects, I'm advising them on that, and we'll be launching something on the Coin Buddha, which is making the users or the students aware of the Web3 sphere and making as a main mode of Web3 for everyone. So it's on these lines. It would be launched pretty soon. It's bringing people to the Web3.
Wow, that's great. So now I'll ask you one very philosophical based, very interesting question, sir. So, sir, what was your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
There are many failures, but I don't know which one was the biggest thing.
Okay.
So, but all of the learnings, it was the one major thing I learned from all of these failings of this thing is about the hindsight bias. When we look back at the failures and think at it, we had the information and everything right now, which we can look at it and say that, oh, that was pretty obvious and it's kind of very stupid of me to not to do that. But again, one thing that we need to remember that at that particular point of time, you don't have the information that you have now.
Alright.
So, and including the emotion, the emotional space that you would be at that point and this are not similar, right? And then there is a high chance of luck and risk that plays out. So I would be more like not to build myself on much on that part specifically, and see as like, okay, that's what it tend to that. And I think I'm not started it properly yet, but the decision generally is something like, especially with the big decisions, right? Making a portfolio things or some other things. Why did I make that decision, and what are the information that are available, and why did I choose to make that decision? It kind of helps you out later on if you want to come on it and reflect on it, whether what's the thing, what was running in mind. That helps you in making basic decision, because whether you agree or not, whatever you are right now, it's because maybe your luck role, there is a lot of luck role and other things, but your decisions plays a major role as well, right? So that's one point.
Perfect, sir. Perfect. So, sir, on the same note, one more very philosophical question. If you were given a time machine and you were sent back to the days when you were 18 years old, what one advice would you give to yourself?
Maybe not to overthink much and just launch and do the things, because most of the outcomes you can't control anyway.
Wow, that's a small answer, perfectly well put into one phrase. So, sir, now since we are coming to the end of the podcast, I'll ask one big question, sir. Till now, till date, what was like the one biggest learning that you had?
Biggest learning that I had. Everything changes.
So again, everything changes.
Everything changes. Nothing's gonna. Yeah, that's the only thing. And more, it's the one thing that I do tell me intellectually, but experientially, it's been there. So that's the thing. Everything changes. So you either need to adapt to that, or so that's the one thing.
Perfect, sir. Perfect. So, sir, we have one question from our investor, sir, and that is, he asked this personally: are we going to make it WGMI?
WGMI. Are we gonna make it?
Yeah.
I mean, like, in which terms?
Which terms?
In real world, metaverse, anything.
Real world metaverse, anything.
I mean, actually, the metaverse. Okay, for this thing, no doubt, it's definitely the digital is the future, and metaverse or the crypto gaming token, decentralized Asian time. It's going to be the future, because if you just look at how the things have been, right? Not just right this moment, the valuation of Bitcoin since that, and even the leading Web2 companies, right? Facebook, as you have mentioned recently, it itself changes name to appear more Web3 thing on this thing, but I don't know how this works out. But the future is more going towards decentralization and democratic and freedom way. And I really hope, and I'm pretty much optimistic about this thing, as we would be seeing a more decentralized and democratic future of in terms of these things, because right now, and I mean the way that we are working on the most of the organization structures of these things, it's pretty centralized. I mean, if you could look at it, it's just like more of a monarchy or a king kind of thing. It's not much of the democratic thing. With the DAOs, I mean, this is a concept that which are using in the blockchain thing, which is decentralized autonomous organization. Here, everything works according to the rules that have been mentioned in the smart contract. So, even the governance part, the important decisions and all that. So, if let's say the genspeaks, right? If let's say this is a DAO and you created 100% of the 100 tokens,
okay,
and all the holders would be having this. I mean, you can literally create a DAO on this thing and say that all the decisions would be on the tokens. So, whoever has the tokens, they get to vote on the percentage of tokens that have,
okay,
and all the decisions, whatever it's final, like whatever the funds you guys have, then that can be utilized to that thing. So it's just one aspect on how things are shaping up and going on in the internet ecosystem or something. So even like Ambedkar said this thing, right? No matter how great the constitution is, if the one who's going to execute it is not good, it's worthless. But here we are completely eliminating the need of a person needing to be good or bad to execute it. Whatever has been instructed, it's been automatically doing that. And in the age of with AI, augmented reality, and all these things, for sure, maybe down the line in 5 years or 10 years, it's definitely. I mean, I have personally experienced that as well, right? With the gloves and seeing that this thing, I almost felt surreal. And then I've also seen a lady who was paralyzed, and with the use of the aptics exoskeleton suit, she was able to walk, run, and all that.
Wow.
I mean, that's like magic, and it's adding value to that. I mean, it's like the technology can do a lot of miracles, and we are on the verge of this thing, right? With the whatever in the past which we couldn't have accomplished, we are achieving that in the rapid pace right now.
Perfect. Perfect. So, guys, with this podcast comes to an end. Thanks to Comic Social for giving us this amazing venue. So, Comic Social is in Jubilee Hills, guys, so please do check it out. And thank you, sir, for taking out time and then coming over here and then speaking to us. Hands down, this was the best podcast till date, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for hosting.
Cut.